Hey everyone, welcome back to bageltcg. Today we're going to be looking at some commoner decks and looking at the commoner format in general that is now an official format from LSS. Before we get into that, remember to like and subscribe, check out my Patreon, check out the affiliate link for Whooped Wizard to support me below, and also check out the links for Galaxxi Gaming, which is my team, and support us there. So let's hop into the video. Flesh and Blood 2.0 is an article put out 2 days ago by James White. It goes into a lot of stuff. I'm sure you guys have already seen a lot of this. The retiring first edition, just one set. There's going to be white bordered cards and new reprint sets called, I believe, history packs, and those are going to be able to, able to support with cheaper versions of cards that are more readily available. And they talk about, Ultimate Pit Fight getting a rule set, Commoner getting its own official rule set, some changes to how ELO works, some changing to how banned and restricted work, and linking the set weapons to Living Legend, as well as making it so there's a more scaled back format of Living Legend, right? So that they don't have too many Living Legend points like what happened with Starvo. Anyways, it's a long article, and I don't really want to go over it here. I think you should read it for yourself, and a lot of it is about collecting. And this channel is first and foremost about being a player. There's other great channels like Kitchen Table, TCG, if you want to find out about collecting. But really, collecting is cool and all. I collect, but I want this channel to be about being a competitive Flesh and Blood player. So I'm not going to go into a lot of this stuff here. What I am interested in is the Commoner format, right? So Commoner is a new official format, which means it can see play at competitive levels, right? You can have Commoner armories, you could have Commoner Road to Nationals, you could have Commoner at any level of play. We probably won't see it at the top level of play, because I think that'll always be just draft and classic constructed. But we could see Commoner all the way up to like Road to Nationals, skirmishes, Battle Hardens. Battle Hardens can see anything. So you could get a invite to Worlds, right? A PTI through a Battle Harden that is Commoner. So it's competitive enough where I think us competitive players should know about this format, right? So let's look at Commoner. Commoner is a 40-card deck, so it's very similar to Blitz, where it's a 40-card deck with 11 inventory slots and 1 young hero, right? But your main 40 cards can only be common, right? And your young hero can only be rare, art, or common, so no majestic heroes. Your 11 inventory slots, you can only have 2 rares out of those slots. So out of the entire deck, the only rares can be the hero and 2 of the equipment. Like everything else in Blitz, it's a 30-minute round timer. There's 2 unique copies of each card, and everything else is common. So that is kind of the rundown of the deck. I don't believe there's any ban list right now. I think that would end up coming at a later point. Just gonna check because I don't think there is. Yeah, there's nothing banned or suspended right now in Commoner. So let's kind of hop over here to some of the decks that I want us to look at. So the first deck is Kaisa. Kaisa is a rare hero, and she is using 2 rare weapons, the Centauri Sabers, but the rest of the deck is all common. Common, that as Commoner said. So we're looking to see how powerful we can make our decks. Commoner I like as a format because it's a lot more mid-rangey and a lot less crazy explosiveness. So you can't do Sonata OTK on Viserai. There's a lot less craziness going on. It's a lot more simple Flesh and Blood, attacking with weapons, stuff like that, right? Kano might still be able to exist, and it is a Blitz format, so we still run our Null Rune, but it's a lot more of a traditional kind of scaled back and power level format, right? So we're going to look at Kaisa here. Warrior is going to be in a great spot. I think Kaisa is one of the good ones to look at. I think Dawnblade is also an amazing weapon, so you could definitely rock Dorinthia as well. But I just wanted to pull up this Kaisa list I threw together here. By no means are any of these lists fully optimized, but I do think they're a great starting point if you want to start building lists and looking at this format, right? So we are missing out on Blood on her hands and Valiant Dynamo, right? Those are kind of her 2 key things that we're missing out on here. But we still get, Centauri Sabers here. We get, we get some Centauri Sabers here, and we get a lot of the other really good tools here. We get, the Blood Drop Brigade, the Gallantry Gold. We get a lot of other great, effects that we really want here. And we get the iron for equipment here. We do have the Ironhide. So Ironhide are still going to allow us to block pretty efficiently. And we can still run the Null Rune, right? So we're not going to get screwed over by any Kanos, and we're still able to block pretty efficiently with Ironhide. For a common warrior equipment, we still get Galaxxi Gold and Refraction Bolters. They both have Battle Worn, so they'll let you block for 1 still. And yeah, they have pretty good effects as well, giving all your weapons +1 on Gallantry Gold, or giving a weapon attack go again on Refraction Bolters. So pretty good equipment for Warrior at common, being able to run 2. It's kind of nice for any of the heroes that have had 2 printings, like one in Tails or Monarch, and also in Welcome to Wraith or Arcane Rising, because they'll get 2 common equipment for the most part. Everything else looks pretty good here. We've got kind of all of the main things that you really want in Kansai. You've got the Rainbow Blade Runner and the Rainbow Hit and Run. Those are all at common, which is really great to see. We're able to get all of our signature pump spells in Sharpen Steel, Outland Skirmish here. A lot of the good, reactions we get with Out for Blood, In the Swing, Stroke of Foresight. Really, it's not too different from a traditional Kansai deck. So I think it's a great place to start, and I think it's going to be really powerful. I think Overpower is a rare, I just realized. Let's find out. We're about to find out if I made a mistake here, and we're going to have to change this in the middle of the deck. I just realized as I'm looking at this, yeah, that's a rare. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that card right there. Let's just throw in a Sharpened Steel. Blue, because why not? But like I said, yeah, these aren't fully optimized. I was kind of throwing them together just because I wanted to look at the commoner format and what I think are good places to start. I do believe everything else here is common, but this deck's really good. It can go again reliably still with our Blade Runners, Driving Blades, and Hit and Runs. And it still has a ton of really good pump effects. Obviously, you lose the big like combo kill of Blood on her hands, but the deck is still able to block really consistently with I think every card in the deck is a 3-block. Yeah, every card's a 3-block, and it's still able to deal damage pretty consistently as well. Next up, we're going to be looking at Benji here. So Benji, another rare hero. We're not running any rare equipment here, but you could run Zephyr Needle if you want. Kind of a similar equipment. I think Ironhide and Null Rune are going to be some of the key equipments in this format. Snapdragon Scalers is probably going to be one of the main equipment in this format for sure. It's probably the best common equipment in the game. And we get Breaking Scales as well here. Benji really wants to, play attacks that cost 2 or less and also have Go Again so that he can just get in free damage. And it is important to note that Fate Foreseen and Sink Below are common, so we do get some of the better defense reactions in this format as well. Unmovable is also common, so Benji likes to play kind of defensive using these D-reacts here in Fate Foreseen, Sink Below, and Unmovable, and then come in for some unblockable damage on the rest of our attacks. So we've got pretty much every attack here is a common attack that swings for 2 or less and has Go Again somehow. I think all of these basically have Go Again here. And we've got the 2 big attacks here in Open the Center and Flying Kick, just in case we want to come in with some big attacks. Sometimes, you do want to deal some big damage, and Open the Center has Dominate, so it's able to get that big damage in still through another way. Like I said, not fully optimized. You might want to run the other 2 head jabs. Probably want to run the 2 red Minnowisms that I just didn't stick in here for some reason. But Ride the Tailwind is a great card. Head Jab's a great card. A lot of these cards are going to be really powerful, and I think this is a great place to start as well. If you're trying to find kind of a sneaky thing to do in this format, right? There's not a lot of sneaky you can do, but Benji is one of the good places to start in terms of sneaking some free damage in and making it hard for your opponents to block. I think that's another good reason to run Ironhide equipment here is because of Benji. And lastly, we've got Dash here. So I think Boost Dash is going to be a pretty premier aggro deck in this format. You get all the good rainbow versions of your boost cards here. So you get the Zipper Hits, the 0 to 60s, and the Throttles. All great cards coming in for really positive rates with Go Again. You get a lot of the other good rare cards, red cards, with Payload, Overblast, Overloop, Combustible Courier. Unfortunately, we don't get any good item to print out with her, but we're going to be putting out Hyperdriver, which says once per turn when you boost a card, remove a Steam counter and gain a resource. So it lets you get a free resource. It comes in with 3 Steam counters on it, so it's kind of 3 free resources. And if the game's going pretty fast, that's maybe all you need is those 3 free resources with Hyperdriver. So it's still a decent item to get started out with on Dash. And the rest of it is just coming in with boost attacks, right? Just trying to boost as much as possible. With this list, you can't miss. It's all Mechanologist cards, so you're really just trying to boost your way into a win. We are using the rare weapon Plasma Barrel Shot. I'm not positive that it's better than the pistol, but it's fun and it lets you come in with some good damage. I think it's probably correct, but I can't be 100% sure on that. We do get to use some of the other really good common equipment here that I think are going to be played in a lot of decks. If there's going to be a common Guardian or Brute, some of those decks, Heart and Crossstrap lets you destroy it and get your next attack costing 2 less to play. So any of our 2-cost attacks are going to be free for one-time use, right? And Goliath Gauntlet makes your next attack action with cost 2 or greater gain +2 damage. So really great effects there. Free 2 damage or free 2 resources are really powerful. Hope Merchant's Hood is kind of nice in an aggro deck. If your hand's really bad, it lets you shuffle it back in and get a new hand. So if your hand's like 4 blues, you can get a new hand that's going to do a lot more damage. So these are some really good aggro tools. Snapdragon Scaler is kind of the other good one, but we don't need it in this deck because all of our cards already have Go Again. I'm not exactly sure Achilles Accelerator does anything either, so we might just run Ironhide Legs here. But kind of the same thing. I think Ironhide's going to be good. If you run 3 of it together, you can pitch a blue to block for 6, which is kind of nice to save a card there and block for a little extra. Null Rune I just want to run still just in case Kano becomes good. Obviously you want some Null Rune in case of Rune Blade. Although I did look into, when I was putting this video together, I looked into kind of all of the classes, and Rune Blade does require a lot of rares, it seems like. A lot of their good non-attack actions are rares. I'm sure you could still put together a pretty nice Rune Blade deck, and Rosetta Thorn is still a great weapon, and it's still common, so I'm sure you could put something good together for Rune Blade, but a lot of their really powerful cards are not common, so I definitely think they're going to have a little bit of trouble being a good deck here. Some of the other decks, like I saw Brute, uses Blood Rush Bellow a lot, and so not having that definitely hurts them, although I do think you could still build a pretty nice Brute deck. I would definitely want to look at Rhinar. But yeah, I think these decks are good places to start. Once again, not fully optimized. I just kind of wanted to throw some decks together for these videos so that we could all look at them and look at Commoner as a format. It looks like a toned down and power level format that's still going to be really fun, but it's going to be a lot more like traditional Flesh and Blood, kind of feel kind of Welcome to Wraith era of just blocking, attacking with weapon, attacking with cards. No crazy Sonata OTKs or Starvo Dominate Go Again, just some really traditional Flesh and Blood. I, for one, really look forward to playing this format and building decks in it. And I hope you all are excited for that too. So yeah, shout out to my patrons for their support. I had one patron ask for some Ultimate Pit Fight videos, so might have a video or 2 about decks in that format. It's not as much of a competitive format, but I do think it's still fun to have videos about that every now and again. I did have the format I came up with called Splice. Didn't get any traction, but I do think that was a fun video as well. I do think I'm also going to do maybe a little series on Commoner, doing a video for each set of heroes. So my first video will probably be all four Welcome to Wraith heroes, and looking at all of a Commoner deck for each of them, right? And then Arcane Rising, then Crucible, then what's after that? Monarch, and then Tales of Aria, and then I actually don't think Everfest has any, because I think all of the Everfest heroes are Majestic. So I don't think you can play any heroes from Everfest, if I'm correct on that. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, let me know what you think of Commoner. Let me know what you think of Flesh and Blood 2.0. I'd still love to talk about it in the comments, even if I'm not talking about collecting on the channel and videos. I still love to discuss it. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.